What's up, you guys? My name is Grace Lauren Wong, and you are listening to episode 83 of the Trauma Dump Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Here at the Trauma Dump Podcast, we seek to answer the question, what is mental health? How do I take care of my own, and how do I support others? This week, we're going to be diving into endometriosis with our friend of the show, return guest from episode 13, Kennedy. Please go check her out. Her Instagram and TikTok will be linked below because she does change the username quite often. Okay, so we're going to be talking about living with endometriosis, which isn't just a physical struggle, it is an emotional marathon. In this powerful and vulnerable episode, Kennedy shares her journey through chronic pain, medical dismissal, and the decision to undergo a hysterectomy. We're going to dive into the emotional impact on living in a body that feels like it's constantly at war with itself, and how the chronic nature of invisible illness can take a deep toll, not only on physical health, but mental health and your community. From navigating feelings of betrayal by your own body to reclaiming autonomy through surgery, this is a conversation about grief, resilience, and healing. If you've ever felt unseen in your pain or unsure whether your emotional struggles count, this one is for you. Please go check out Kennedy and watch her previous episode, episode 13. The link will be in the description, or if you're watching us on YouTube, it'll be like over here somewhere. I will put the link over here somewhere so that you can click on it as a precursor to understand Kennedy's struggles prior to this episode. Hey, and if you like this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button and share this episode with your friends, especially if you know someone who also faces chronic pain or has a chronic illness. This might be a really good episode to connect with them over. And if you want a community that is free of bias and we're trying to end stigma around talking about mental health, please connect with us on our Discord server. It's anonymous, it's free, it's peer support, so please connect with us over on there. And if you'd like to share on the show, please message us in our Discord, okay? In the podcast participants channel, along with your unique experiences, and we will match you to the right episode. And just a quick disclaimer before we start, I am not a licensed health professional. This podcast only seeks to create community and further understanding of these difficult topics that are so often overlooked and extremely misunderstood. If you or a loved one are in need of medical professional help, we have resources in our descriptions. The topics discussed here are for a mature audience, so viewer discretion is always advised. And before we get into this episode, I have a little shout out to myself. I made this rose quartz set. It's beautiful. It's a bracelet and earrings. The earrings are rose gold for the rose quartz, and the crystals in between are Swarovski crystals. They are beautiful, and it's going to be available on my website on August 1st. Bracelets by Grace is my website. The links will be in the description as well if you want to go check that out and support me supporting the show. It's beautiful. We're going to have a lot of different sets over on the website, and we're going to be doing limited edition drops every single month. Something new on the website, something one of a kind, because we only do one of one for each set or piece of jewelry. So please go check us out. Gracelets by Grace at myshopify.com. That's Gracelets by Grace, myshopify.com. Go check us out. Hi, Kennedy. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome back, really, because it's been a while. It's been a minute.
It has, and I am happy to be here.
Hell yeah, I'm happy to have you back. So today we're talking about endo, exhaustion, emotional toll. Girl, it's been a while. We're talking about endometriosis. We're going to dive into the emotional impact of living in a body that feels like it's constantly at war with itself, and how the chronic nature of invisible illness can take a deep toll on your mental health. So, our guest of the week is friend of the show, Kennedy. She was in episode, I think, 8 or 15. Which one were you in? Do you remember?
It's been so long. I think it was 15.
It was 15? Yeah. I'm like trying to find it, because do you remember like what we talked about that episode?
It was family trauma.
Do you want to unpack a little bit of how that situation is going? Like, give us a refresher, because I remember we talked about your dad and your sister.
Yes. Not speaking to either of them and haven't really spoken to them. Stopped talking to my dad and try to get back into my siblings' lives, and it hasn't been going so good. So
I'm sorry. That sucks. That really does suck, because it's like you try really, really hard to, you know, mend relationships, and sometimes it's just not, it's not possible. And I just looked back on the previous episode. So you were in episode 13. So we were both wrong. Childhood trauma featuring Kennedy. So I'm going to put a link up here if anybody wants to check out that episode first before watching this so you can get some context. But I'm not a licensed health professional. We're just going to give that disclaimer up at the front. Neither is Kennedy. So take what we have to say here as not gospel, but just truths and lived experiences. Before we start the interview, remember we got to give that not crossing any boundaries. I will respect your experiences. Let me know if you want to stop, take a break, if you need to get some water. We can take a break at any time. And if you don't feel like answering a question, just let me know and I will skip it because my priority is to make sure that you feel safe and comfortable at all times.
all right.
So, living with endometriosis, when did you first start experiencing symptoms?
My first period at 12. It was I was actually at church camp in the middle of nowhere, and I had started my period, and I was in so much pain and so much panic because I didn't know what was happening. And eventually I figured out what was going on, but I was in so much pain that I was kind of stuck in the cabin for the good rest of the week.
That, as a little kid, that must have been like really traumatizing, especially the not knowing. Were you able to talk to like a counselor or anything? Did they help?
Luckily, my grandma was the pastor at the time, so I was able to talk to her about it. Um, and so she really helped me through it. She gave me, I was taking so much ibuprofen, it was crazy. Um, and we had someone drive down to the town that was about an hour away to grab me pads for the first time.
So you were experiencing the symptoms of endometriosis, but you didn't have a word for it. And essentially, it was like the worst period known to man, but which men don't even know periods. Haha. Worst period known to women and non-binary human beings that you just think, oh God, this is what periods are going to be like for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it just got worse from there, to be honest.
Goodness. How long did it take to receive a diagnosis?
Surprisingly, it didn't take that long. I got diagnosed when I was 18, which is the youngest age that I was told by the doctor that she ever seen with such severe endometriosis. So she was very surprised that she was able to diagnose me so quickly.
For those that don't know what endometriosis is, would you like to give us a little rundown?
Yes, so endometriosis is where the lining of your uterus, the tissue that gets goes down through your period, sheds. That's the word, sheds. Um, grows outside the uterus or grows abnormally weird inside the uterus. So with me, the endometriosis, the tissue that's supposed to be shedding every month, grown around my intestines, in my intestines, um, in my stomach, around my stomach. And so every month, all my organs are trying to shed at once.
That's terrifying. That sounds horrible. Oh my God. So how does what does the diagnosis look like? Like what was that whole process?
So I went to four different OBGYNs here in Vegas. Um, and I finally got diagnosed. No, I got diagnosed in Arizona. Um, I went to four different OBGYNs in Arizona, and I finally found someone because my aunt has endometriosis. So she was like, you should go get talked about it. And so I went to four, and finally the fourth one was like, yeah, your symptoms aligns with endometriosis, but the only way we can diagnose that is through surgery. So I had a laparoscopic surgery, which is just two incisions where they take a camera and they go look around and burn some of the tissue that's around. Um, and that's how I got diagnosed at such a young age, is by them cutting me open.
It's terrifying. That's a honestly, it is a modern medicine miracle. I can't imagine the countless people that lived with endometriosis and, never really were able to get diagnosed with and were just seen as crazy. Did it ever make you feel like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me? Did people ever not believe you on how your pain was so intolerable?
Um, I had a few people in my life not believe me. But surprisingly, my mom was very caring. During school, when I would start my period during class, she would always come pick me up because I would be throwing up in pain.
What are the other symptoms of endometriosis other than vomiting and nausea?
Migraines, just abdominal pain throughout the month. It's not just during periods, it's just constant pain. Um, that's pretty much it for what at least I had. It's very different for everyone.
I was doing some research on this topic because when I was younger, I think I was about like 15, I started getting like the worst periods. And I went through like the biggest tampon that was on the market every hour. And my mom was like, "Oh, you might have endometriosis." Turns out I don't, which is great. I just had to be put on some form of birth control to make my periods lighten up and not be so heavy. But I wanted to do some research on this topic because it's so not spoken about. I mean, periods as like a topic anyway is super taboo in general to just talk about. But endometriosis seems like an even more taboo topic. And apparently the disease itself was first recognized and identified nearly 300 years ago. And then there were ancient origin treatments that have existed more than 4,000 years ago. But a lot of men thought that, women's periods or endometriosis was essentially a wandering uterus and is what caused hysteria, women being crazy. Um, have you done any research on endometriosis in the past of just like the history of it?
I have, but it's been since I got diagnosed. I've done a bunch of research when I got diagnosed, but it's been 3 years since I've been diagnosed. So all those facts are kind of just gone. The only fact that I can really remember is that 1 out of 100 women have endometriosis. So I think that's crazy to think about because it's not talked about enough.
Hmm.
But 1/100th of the women around the world have it.
Yeah, it's it's super horrendous that, even when we were in school learning about periods and having sex eds, like I remember us speaking so much more about boys than about girls. And I also remember that once we started getting into the topic of periods, the boys like left the classroom. Did you ever have sex ed when you were a kid?
Yes, I had my first sex ed class was in 5th grade, and it was broken up into two rooms, one with the boy side, one with the girl side. Um, and it was a little weird. I remember talking about periods, tampons, and pads, but they never talked about the pain or the illnesses that you can have, the chronic pain that some people can have. And I thought that was really weird a few years later because I had my period and I was like, I was not warned about any of this at all.
Do you think it's also super harmful to boys, like their development for them not to know about periods at all as well?
I think everyone should know about periods because men, you're going to have women in your life that have periods, and you're going to need to know how to comfort them because the hormones go whack and we cry, we laugh, we get angry really easily during that week and the week prior. And I feel like it just needs to be talked about a lot more with men and women.
I agree. I agree. I think it's a topic that really isn't discussed enough in general, but especially when it comes to men, because I remember like whenever I got my period, my mom and my dad both were like, I have two younger brothers. They were like, don't tell your brothers. And I was like, why? They're like, don't tell your brothers. It's gross. They literally told me it's gross. I'm like, my brothers do gross crap all the time. Like, we have a horse yard next door and they'll throw horse shit at each other. Like, what do you mean? This is my body. I remember like being so frustrated that I couldn't talk to my siblings about it because I was super close with them once upon a time, super close. Like we used to tell each other everything. Why can't I talk about what's going on with my body? And it's like a shame that was put on
Mm-hmm.
me. It's that like, oh, you're gross. What's going on in your body is gross. Don't talk about it. Don't tell other people about it. It's just not something that you talk about. And I remember being like, well, what am I supposed to do if I don't have a pad with me? And my mom was like, "Well, talk to an older women about it. Don't talk to your friends about it." And I remember another big thing that happened to me when I was younger. I had a friend who had uterine cancer when she was a little girl. And we didn't even know what a uterus was when we were little, right? And she got her uterus removed, and her mom never told her ever told her, which is the craziest thing ever. Her mom never told her that she would never be able to have kids, never told her any of that until I was like 15, 16. I was over at her house and I was like, "Do you have a pad?" And she said, "What is a pad?" I was like, "For your period." And she's like, "What is a period?" She didn't know. And her parents got so angry with me for me even telling her what is a pad, what is a period. And I was like, "Do you not have a period?" And she's like, "No." And she's like, she knew she had uterine cancer growing up, but she didn't know that her uterus was removed. And she was like, "Maybe it's because I had cancer growing up." And I was like, maybe you just don't get a period. Periods suck. Like, I'm jealous of you. I was like, I'm jealous of you because you don't have periods. And then I was never allowed to hang out with her or speak to her ever again because her parents were so angry with me because they had to be accountable and tell her, no, she's never going to have a period. No, she's never going to have kids of her own. And that's so devastating as well for her because she wanted kids. She would talk about all the time how she wanted kids. I think when we're put into like a state of shame and guilt about just normal body things or told that our bodies are something to keep secret, that's where we can really feel isolated and othered. And it's so incredibly damaging, not only for the way that we build connections, but also the way that we see ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Were you ever told to not talk about your period by your parents?
Well, my dad wasn't really around much, so with my mom, we never really had like the period talk or the sex talk. It was my aunt who gave me that talk because she's a nurse. She always told me never to be ashamed, but I still felt ashamed for it, even though I was told not to feel ashamed. It was just the people in school or the people I surrounded myself with was the ones that really told me it was shameful to talk about and it was gross and disgusting. And so even when I did start my period during class and I didn't have a pad with me, I wouldn't say anything. I would go about my day just bleeding through my pants because I was too ashamed and too scared to ask someone.
What do you wish people listening understood about the day-to-day reality with living with endometriosis?
It's hard and it's very frustrating to have this diagnosis and to be in chronic pain constantly. Um, just if you know someone that has it, be mindful, be caring, be loving, because the pain that they go through every week, even the entire month, is the same pain that women go through when they're giving birth. It's contractions, basically, the same strength of pain. So please, 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 please be mindful.
How did it affect your relationships, works, or sense of identity?
It was really hard because I started working at 16 and there was a time where I started my period and I was in the bathroom throwing up during my shift. And luckily, most of the people on staff that day were women. So I was able to go and talk to my boss, be like, hey, I'm in chronic pain. It's 110 degrees outside, and I'm pushing carts and I'm throwing up. Heat makes it worse. Heat makes it worse 100%. And she was nice enough to drive me home because I took the public bus. And so she was nice enough to drive me home. And school was hard. I kept missing school a lot because I was in pain all the time. Um, Work and school was really hard for me.
It also make you feel like you were falling behind a bit as well.
Here and there, yeah, because I would miss like a week, a month because of my pain. So I would be really behind. Luckily, I had teachers. My mom, I believe my mom spoke to them, gave them emails, let them know what was going on. So they were kind of more lenient with me and gave me extra time to do these assignments. So I'm very much grateful for my mom for doing that.
I'm grateful for her too, because it is really helpful. Girl, were there moments that you felt dismissed or gaslit by doctors? Especially said you went to four different doctors to try and get a diagnosis. Did they ever like mistreat you?
Um, yes and no. They didn't believe that I was in that much pain. That's one thing. They didn't believe my pain. And even after I got diagnosed and I moved back to Nevada, I went to yet again 4 different OB-GYNs to get someone to help me with my pain management. And they all dismissed me until one. And she's been amazing. But it was really hard trying to find someone. And because they kept dismissing me, because I was my first time going to the OB-GYN, I was 16. They didn't believe how much pain I was in. And then I went 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and they said that I was so young that I could not have endometriosis. It was
Mm,
so rare. They didn't believe that it was that bad.
mm. But just as you were saying before, it's not rare. 1 in 100 women have it. So I feel like doctors, I don't know why so many doctors just don't believe women. I really don't comprehend that. Is it something that they're, taught when they're getting their doctorate, when they're in residential? Like, what is going on? Why do they not believe?
I have no idea. I saw this TikTok and I thought it was so funny because it was a skit of residents talking to the new people coming on, and it was, "Oh, if a woman's in pain, what do you tell her?" And it's like he said something like, "Oh, tell her that she needs to lose some weight," or if it was basically just lose weight, lose weight, lose weight, and I thought it was funny because it's kind of accurate. Because I was told to lose weight, and I was 120 pounds, and I'm 5'6" at the time. So I was like, I'm anorexic. I don't even eat. So how can I lose any more weight than I am? And it was just crazy to me. I was 16 and them telling me that I was fat, and I was 120 pounds.
Yeah. It's it's ridiculous. I remember because my mom was very much against birth control as a concept. My family, they're a bunch of Christians, and I wasn't even sexually active at the time, but my doctor had prescribed me birth control to limit my periods because they were so heavy. It was 9 days of just non-stop bleeding. And it was only till the last day where I could use the smaller tampons. But that's expensive. Tampons within themselves, that's like a whole nother topic. Why are they so fucking expensive? But anyway, I digress. Like my doctor said, okay, we're gonna put you on a hormonal birth control to make your periods lighten because they were incredibly painful, but it was just so much. I was like ruining my clothes from how much. And my mom had to sit down talk with me. She's like, "Are you sure about this? You know, it's against God's plan to take birth control. It's against God's plan." I'm like, "So it's God's plan for me to bleed out? What? What do you mean? This doesn't sound accurate. What do you mean? I'm gonna take the birth control." And when I did, my dad was the one who picked up our prescriptions, and he was the one who picked up my birth control for the first time. And the pharmacist was like, "Oh, is this for your daughter?" He's like, "Yeah. Does she know how to use it?" And he was like, "Know how to use what?" "The birth control." My dad was livid. He was so mad because there's such a huge stigma around birth control, around taking medications, that limit fertility or make fertility greater. There's so much just stigma. And in my opinion, there's no justified reason for it. It's just a control issue, I think. And I really want to get into your recent surgery that you had. Girl, you want to tell us about that? You want to announce to the class what you did?
So before I get into that, I just want to preface that I tried everything in the book before this. I was on birth control. I tried an IUD, which I do not recommend getting an IUD. That hurt so bad, almost passed out. But I tried everything in the book. Nothing worked.
Mhm.
I had a lot of debate with my family about this. The only person who was really on my side was my fiance. So I got, which was really hard for me to make this decision. I got a hysterectomy back in May due to how bad the pain was because I was over it. I was done. And it was a very hard choice because me and my fiance, we want kids. And we had to make the decision of because I might not be able to have children. That was one of the bad issues with endometriosis, is that there's a high chance you can't carry children. You can get pregnant, but it's going to be a hard time of being pregnant. And so it was either we wait until I'm out of college, which is about 26, 27, to have kids, and I'll be in pain for the next 5 to 6 years, or we get rid of my pain altogether and we figure out a different way to have children. So we were like, screw it. you're done being in pain. I'm done being in pain. So that's what we did.
How freeing was it to just not have that pain? Because it's been a bit. It's July now.
Mm-hmm.
Been a couple months. I know we've been planning this episode for a bit. Like, do you feel free? Like, how are you feeling? What are the emotions around it?
I'm just happy that I don't have to pay $20 every month for pads and tampons, um, which is amazing. I struggled a lot in the beginning. The first 2 days I was okay. The third day is when it really hit me what I did. I was like, oh, started bawling my eyes out. But after that, I realized that what I did was what I needed to stop being in pain and suffer for the rest of my life. So it felt quite freeing after having that mental crisis.
Yeah, I hear you. I can't imagine the toll, like, because like you were saying, you wanted to have kids. This was like the Hail Mary, the last thing that you could do for your health, which your health is paramount. Your health matters. And I'm really proud of you, and I'm really glad that you did it before it becomes illegal, because especially with the way the, political climate is going, like it could eventually, like healthcare could become illegal. And that's terrifying within itself. You were talking about how you opened up with your family about it. Did they ever try to make you feel guilty or talk you out of it?
Um, the only people I really talked to was my mom, my dad, my grandma, and my fiance. My grandma was rooting for me. She said, "Hey, just don't let them take your cervix, because you won't be having very good fun with adult time." I was like, "Grandma, I don't need to hear about your adult time that you guys do." Um, and then my dad, he was like, if God wanted you to have children, then God will give you children. Um, just let me know how you feel afterwards. And it was kind of like he cared, but also didn't show it that he cared. And it was kind of weird. Um, my mom, she did try to talk me out of it a little bit. She was like, hey, children are amazing. Being pregnant is amazing. And I said, I understand that. I do want to be pregnant. And that's been my lifelong dream of having a maternity photo shoot. That was something I really wanted to do, but this is something that needs to happen for my overall health and happiness. And then she got on board, and she was the one who drove me and picked me up for my surgery. She's the one who stayed with me my first day after surgery. Um, when I got out of surgery, I guess the first thing I said was, "Where's my mom?" Because she's been really supportive about this. She even said that she'll hold my children when I want to have children. So
That's beautiful. That's very beautiful. It's very sweet. What emotional or mental preparation did you do before the surgery?
I went to, because I go to therapy once a week. That's something I just do. And so I talked to my therapist for a good month, once a week for a month, just talking about their surgery, trying to figure out a plan of if I do start regretting it and I do start going into like a mental depression from it, what she can do to help me through that as well. So I had a team of people there to help me every step of the way. So that was kind of like my mental plan. I made a plan, I did the plan. Um, I made sure I had somebody with me. I made sure that everyone knew what was going on. I wrote myself a letter. I had my mom write me a letter. I had my fiance write me a letter letting me know that this was a good choice. This was my choice. and that they love me no matter what, and that everything's going to be a-okay. And so I really needed those letters. And I read my fiance's, and oh my God, he made me cry. I was crying after reading that letter because he's so good at writing letters.
That's sweet. It's very sweet. You know, from my perspective, because I also have like a lot of health complications in just general. I have pretty severe hypothyroidism. My thyroid gland doesn't really work. And I've known since I was really little, because my mom made it very known to me and my siblings that she really struggled to carry all three of us. And I was an emergency C-section because I was dying in the womb, and like how hard it was to have kids in general, and how hard it was to raise kids in general, and yada, yada, yada. And I was told by a couple of my doctors growing up that I may not be able to carry a pregnancy long term because of how severe the hypothyroidism is, and because of how much stress and cortisol, floods my body whenever I get really stressed out, I have like a little seizure. And they were like, "We just want you to know this. Just be aware that if you do want to have kids, you might have to do shots and injections to keep your pregnancy." And that whole idea is so scary. And I have been thinking about this for a long time about, to be a mom, you don't just have to give birth to a baby, because people give birth to babies all the time, so they're not their mother, right? Being a
Mm.
mom is being present in your child's life and guiding them, being a support for them, nurturing them, and giving them an environment that they can grow and thrive in. And in so many ways, to my own friend group, I'm the mom friend of the group. I just hosted the 4th of July party yesterday. I am already a mom without, giving birth. And I've talked with my husband about this, and I really want to adopt one day. I think that'll be so awesome to have a little kid, not just, I don't want to adopt a baby. I want to adopt a kid. You know what I mean? Like, I want a
Mm.
child. And I think you, my dear, if you have it on your heart that you want to be a mom, you can most certainly still be a mom.
Yeah, me and my fiance talked about adopting as well because my major right now is social work, and I want to become a child psychologist. And so we've discussed a lot of how we want to have children, and we're okay with adopting if we need to adopt. If for some reason my mom can't carry at least one child, then we're happy to adopt. I want one of my own, and then I'll adopt the rest. I would love to take in children that in that way. Because who needs more kids in the world when there's kids that need help?
I think that's a very good way to look at it. Um, as far as your hysterectomy, did they save your eggs or they just took everything out?
They kept my ovaries, so I still have my ovaries. I didn't want my ovaries taken out because if they took them out, then I have to be on hormones and for the rest of my life, and I don't want to do that. Um, but I also kept them just in case. Because me and my fiance, we were talking about not having kids at all, because just the economy and the way that things are working right now, we just did not want to risk putting a child into this world. And so we've been talking extensively about children, and it kept my ovaries just in case, but mostly we want to adopt.
That's sweet. That's very sweet. Talking about how physical health intersects with mental health, which you brushed on a little bit. Um, when it comes to hysterectomies, have you been able to connect with anybody else who's had a hysterectomy yet?
My grandma and my aunt both had hysterectomies at a young age. My grandma had hers when she was 28. My aunt had hers in her mid 30s. So I was able to connect with them with that. And surprisingly, funny enough, my mother-in-law, she had a hysterectomy a month before I did, which is really funny to me because I didn't know she was having a hysterectomy. And I had scheduled it around the time when she was supposed to have a hysterectomy. So we got to kind of bond, and she kind of talked me through the whole process, which was really nice to know. So we got to bond over that, and I had my grandma and my aunt as well.
So you have a strong group of women who supported you and also have taken steps to take care of their health before you. So it wasn't really that isolating, which is encouraging for me to hear that you had that support of people who loved you and knew you and wanted what was best for you and enabled you to, make those decisions for yourself. I think that's beautiful. It's very beautiful. If there's a listener out there, debating whether or not to get a hysterectomy or they have some fears about it, what would you tell them?
It is scary. It is. But if it's for your best interest, and if you're in pain, or you just don't want children at all and you just want to get rid of it, I say think about it a lot. It is a really big surgery, and take your time. But if you have your mind set on it, do it. Just do it. I've had my mind set on this for 3 years, and I finally just ripped the band-aid off because I was finally old enough, as the doctors like to tell me. I was 21 in the state of Nevada, I suppose. But do it, and afterwards, you will most likely be put into a little bit of a depression because it's messing with your hormones a little bit. So be aware of that. Have a system. Have people with you. Make sure you have snacks near you and food near you because you're not getting out of that bed the first few days. Just make sure you have a support system if you decide to do that.
What myths or stigmas do you want to challenge about hysterectomies?
Getting a hysterectomy does not make you any less of a woman. It does not. I am still a woman. I still identify as a she, her. I'm still a woman. You still go through everything that a woman goes through every day. It doesn't take away from who you are. You are still you. I know when I was talking about a hysterectomy, people were afraid that my fiance would leave me. And if a man leaves you because you're putting your mental and physical health above everything, he ain't worth it. My fiance was happy enough. He was pushing me to take care of myself. And so do it. And the myths and everything that's going on, what people are telling you, just listen to your heart, listen to your brain. And the myths are myths. Don't listen to them.
What would you say about someone who's really struggling and they want to have a hysterectomy, but they're in a position where either financially, legally, or otherwise they can't get one? What would your advice and any words of wisdom that you have for those people?
I feel really bad for the people who can't get what they need. Try other options. See what is out there. If you can't get a hysterectomy because of the state that you live in, and you don't have the money to go to a different state, I say save up money. Sit, make a plan, figure out how much it's going to cost to go to a different state and to get that procedure. Just save up as much as you can, because I was terrified that my insurance wasn't going to pay for it because of how young I am. And since I was told from a very young age that my pain, I was being over dramatic. So I was afraid my insurance would do the same thing. Luckily, they didn't, but it was really scary for me. So if you can, you have a job or you can get a job, get one, save up. Because it's not a, I don't want to say it's not pricey, but it is kind of pricey. For me, before insurance, it was about $3,000. So I would save up as much as you can if you really want to get this done.
What would you say to someone who has the money for it, but is just afraid of backlash from others?
Don't listen to other people. They can say everything they want to say under the moon. People are mean. If people are telling you like you shouldn't get it, or they're demeaning you or being rude to you, belittling you, ignore them, because either they're just mad that they didn't get it done, or they believe in God's will per se. Just do what you think is right for you and screw everyone else, because your health is the most important thing in the world.
What's helped you start to cope spiritually through all of this?
I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in manifestation. I believe in all the crystals and the spirituality of everything. Um, what I've been doing is not necessarily praying, but kind of like manifesting what I want to happen. Just putting my energy out there. And I keep crystals with me because they kind of like center me. And I've been trying to go out more and be in the nature for me, because nature really helps me calm down. And right now, what's really been helping me spiritually is just reading, to be honest, keeping my mind off things and just doing something that makes me happy and relaxes me.
I'm so proud of you. Um, Another form of advice for someone who may want to seek treatment for their endometriosis. Are there any support systems, routines, or tools that make a real difference?
Find a community. Go on Facebook. Find a group of women who's done this before and just ask your questions. Ask all the questions that you have. And women, these groups will tell you everything. They'll tell you what happens before the surgery, during the surgery, after the surgery, the mental toll it takes, the amount that it costs. They will give you all that information and they'll be with you every step of the way. So I would say find a support group, find a Facebook group, or go out and try to find somebody, anybody who's had a hysterectomy, and just talk to them, because they'll gladly tell you everything you need to know.
When it comes to endometriosis, do you think there should be any social campaigns in place? Would you maybe one day want to be an advocate?
I would love to be an advocate. It's Endometriosis has put a lot of strain on my life, and I want to make awareness of it. It is very, very important that other women know that they're not alone in this really hard time of life right now, that they're just not alone, and I would love to become an advocate for it.
Hmm. Do you think that if there's more social awareness of endometriosis, that healthcare like hysterectomies will become less of stigmatized, or even birth control will be less stigmatized if we have more awareness of women's bodies and people's bodies that have uteruses.
I hope so. I believe that if women just and men just stop making periods and endometriosis and even PCOS scary and gross, then we could actually get what we need, and doctors and nurses and scientists were able to listen to us when we're telling them like, hey, this is going on, you need to find a way to fix it. They'll most likely fix it if more people come up and more people talk about it.
How are you feeling right now, Kennedy? You feeling good?
I am feeling pretty good right now.
I'm glad. Have you been able to like spend some time, acknowledging, oh my God, I'm not in pain anymore? Has that been like freeing at all? Like, how is your pain? I know you have pain from surgery, but like overall, how's that going?
I stopped being in pain from surgery after a few days. I, due to the pain of having endometriosis, I have a really high pain tolerance. So for me, the surgery went by. The pain was nothing to me. Um, but last month in June, I was like, this is my first month with no period. So free, I could wear pants without being scared. And I don't have to have ibuprofen with me constantly. Um, it was just really freeing knowing that I'm not in pain. But it doesn't, for the surgery I had, there is still a chance of it growing back, the endometriosis, because it's hormonal. So the ovaries makes it grow, but the main point of the pain is gone. So it's still one like, hey, in the next few years, you might feel a little pain here and there, but it's not going to be as bad. And I said, cool, that's fine. I'm okay with it. But I'm reveling in the situation right now, not being in pain.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. That's really encouraging to hear that you're no longer in this agonizing pain and you're able to do more and not have to worry. Um, what are some things that held you back with endometriosis that now you do with confidence?
I For 4th of July this year, my boss invited me and my fiance to go to the Lake Havasu in Arizona. Fully paid, everything. He was amazing. Loved it. It was so much fun. But I didn't have to worry about wearing a bathing suit. That was so freeing to me. I didn't have to worry about, oh no, did I bring a tampon with me? What if I stop my period and there's blood on my swimsuit and people see it? It was so freeing. Um, just be able to do fun activities without having to worry about being in pain or bleeding. It was so freeing yesterday.
And what a great day for freedom. 4th of July. Oh my God. That's awesome. That's really encouraging. Girl, do you have like any other updates that you want to tell us about that have gone well in your life or maybe not so well?
I think the last time we talked, I didn't have a job. I've been working at this electrical company for a year now, and I've gotten 2 raises. My boss completely paid for new AC in my car, so he paid $2,300 for new AC in my car. Um, I'm invited to every company retreat that we do, even though it's only supposed to be for owners. But I'm special, I guess. So I get to go. Life has just been up and down a lot, but mostly up. Um, my job is doing amazing. My relationship with my fiance is doing amazing. I'm happy. I'm content, even if I don't have such a big circle of people around me, which is pretty much just me, my fiance, and my mom, and his family. Those are the only people I have really in my life. But it's so freeing not having drama. It's so freeing of just being me and just being able to do life the way I want to do it.
What are your ways of building some community? Because it sounds like you have some community at work. You have your family. What are some ways that you can build some friendship community like going forward? Because we're in the midway point of the year, right? What are some
Yep.
goals that you can achieve?
I've been trying to join a book club as of recently. That's one of my goals this year is joining a book club and actually doing it. One of my other goals is making a friend because I don't have any friends. I kind of just cut them all out because they're all toxic. As of recent, so I just been doing me. I am on Bumble Friends, and it's been fun. I've been trying to make some new friends.
I will give you all the good friendship luck because I'm sure that you'll find some good friends. I have been making a lot of friends recently and got to invite a lot of new people because I like hosting parties. That's one of my favorite things. I got to host the 4th of July party and invited a lot of new people. Some people that I met at the gym, and then one of my husband's high school friends just got a girlfriend, so she got to come to the 4th of July party as well. And it was really nice. I mean, you can find community anywhere. It's just being intentional about it and openly pursuing each other, making time for each other. Um, it's so possible and it's really great. I'm really encouraged by your story. I truly am in awe of all that you've accomplished. And it's really a testament to how hard you work that you can achieve these goals. You just need patience and perseverance. Truly, you really do. Thank you for sharing with us, Kennedy. Where can we find you on social media so we can follow your journey?
I have TikTok. I have Instagram. Do I remember what their usernames are? No, because I love changing them all the time. Um, but you can find me on those two sites. That's where I am right
I'll
now.
tag you.
Uh, on TikTok, I talk about trauma. I talk about funny things with my fiance. It's I just talk about everything. I'm a very talkative, yappy person.
And we appreciate that because this is a podcast. We need to have a yapper. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let me look up your TikTok real quick before we go so I can shout it out on the air because it's important. Because I think I sent you a meme earlier.
Oh yes, I watched that
Yes.
and I laughed.
So Kennedy's TikTok is at http dot k3n underscore. So that is again http dot k3n underscore on TikTok. And her Instagram is I'm going really quick. I'm going to the podcast Instagram. Okay. Kennedy. It is KXNN dot underscore. Hell yeah. So her Instagram is at KXNN dot underscore. So please go check her out and follow her on social media, follow her journey, support her for being on the podcast. If you guys want to ever share on the podcast, join our Discord server. It's anonymous, it's free, it's community. You can talk about literally anything on there. And if you want to be on the podcast, connect with us on the Discord. There's a podcast participants channel, and we will make an episode about you because we're trying to get more people on the pod. It's a slow time. It's a slow time in general for everything, which, I'm trying to revel in it because June was my busiest month of the year and July is not super busy. So I'm just like, chill out. Chill out, girl. Chill out. I know you were saying that you really like crystals. Do you want to see something? I have been making crystal jewelry. They're called gracelets. And I made a website and I'm really excited about it. And I have like a drop coming in August. I think it's August 1st where I'm gonna be releasing sets. And I'm very excited. Do you want to see one? What's your favorite color?
It changes. Right now it's pastel pink.
Pastel pink. Okay, I have a rose quartz one. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me like roll this way. Okay, I'm hyped about this. Don't even worry about it. Okay. Ta-da! So it's rose quartz. There's Swarovski crystals in between. And then the earrings are also rose quartz and rose gold. And it has a little heart pendant on the bottom. Hold up. Let me get up close. Ooh, beautiful.
I love
Yes.
that.
Thank you. And this is going to be on my website on August 1st. So please check out that drop whenever it comes out, guys, because it's going to be great. And I'm really excited about it. I love making jewelry. I'm so hyped because, girl, I took so much time to make this website. Oh my God. Like, I have dyslexia. Making a website is not easy. Oh my God. I misspelled so many words. So coding? No. It's like the most challenging thing ever. But I'm incredibly proud of myself. That is an update in my life is the gracelets. And I do markets. I'm in Texas. Market season is over, okay? We're waiting till September and then market season will be back and then I will be out there selling my wares and being like, "Hello. Come into my witchy booth." I know I'm so blurry right now. Come into my witchy booth, buy something. I don't know. I'm excited. This is something that I've been working towards for a while and I'm really hyped. People
I will
know.
be on the website August 1st.
Hell
Contact.
yeah. Fuck yeah. That's exciting. All right. Well, we love you so much. Please take care of yourself because you deserve it. Remember that you are capable of a fulfilling life in spite of your circumstances and your trauma. May you rise again from the ashes and be filled with peace, hope, love, joy, and understanding. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.